For more details, please check the official Nintendo Switch 2 website, which goes live later today.
The fuck? Hey yo, what the fuck?
Oh my god, bro.
Oh hell no, man. What the fuck, man?
Hello, how are you doing, peeps? Initially I was gonna title this video Price Hikes and Preservation, the fight for fair gaming or gaming crisis, rising console costs and the battle to save games. Those two got scrapped. As you can tell from the title of this video, I wanted to talk to you guys about the current two burdens of the modern gaming industry. More specifically about the recent events, mostly coming from Nintendo, Microsoft, Sony and Rockstar, with an additional category about the result of the Stop Killing Games petition. Now you can see where this is heading. With that out of the way, let's get right into it.
Huh?
Oh, nice computer you got here. Can I have it?
So in case you've been living under a rock lately, Nintendo mentioned their pricing for their Nintendo Switch 2 games, which left consumers upset, and rightfully so. People were protesting, saying drop the prices in one of their YouTube live streams. Unfortunately, to no one's surprise, it did not help. It's like what I've been saying on my channel for a while now. If you want to protest against the company, you'll have to boycott it by hitting them where it hurts, which is the wallet. Unfortunately though, Nintendo fans, at least the diehard ones, have no fucking willpower and will buy it even if they have a big issue with it. You have a YouTuber who is also a big Nintendo fan by the name of Some Ordinary Gamer, aka Murahar, go around saying he won't buy the Nintendo Switch 2. He made several videos mentioning how bad the Switch 2 is and that he wouldn't get the Switch 2 at the moment, only to pre-order it immediately. So not only does the Nintendo community have addicts with no self-control and ends up with buyer's remorse, but also there's plenty of fucking grifters in that community. Munahar made a pretty bad apology video in response to the heavy criticism he received. Worst part about the Nintendo community, however, are the Nintendo fanboys, since these retards will sweep for Nintendo at every turn. If you make a completely valid criticism towards Nintendo or the developer slash publisher from that Nintendo console or handheld, they will jump to the defense faster than you can blink. Out of Sony, Microsoft and Nintendo, the one with the most parasocial audience is Nintendo fans, 100% hands down. You know, ever since Nintendo were pulling the move of increasing the prices of their games to above $60, I was predicting that Microsoft would do the same thing and that Sony would follow through with it as well. After all, console companies love to copy each other's trends, like for example their anti-consumer online subscription, which is required to pay to play online. Sony haven't done anything yet that I'm aware of, or actually no, never mind, we'll get to that. What Microsoft did as a move was not only increase the price of Xbox games, but also the Xbox Series S consoles. Consoles sell at a loss with the expectation that enough games are bought to make up for the loss, but by making both the console and games expensive, I don't think they will make up for the losses due to the lack of sales. I've always hated Microsoft's console market ever since the Xbox 360 days, because not only do they spit at their customers with their online subscription, they also came out with a console that got bricked really easily. But hey, at least Microsoft's case, at least in Microsoft's defense, they're not breaking it intentionally, unlike Nintendo with their Switch 2. We've seen this with the online subscription locking online play behind a paywall, starting with Microsoft, then Sony started doing that, and then Nintendo started doing that. Now, with a recent price hiking trend, it's Nintendo who made the first move, then Microsoft followed up with it, and then Sony at last. I swear to God, it's almost like these three companies want people to switch to PC or pirate the console games. Funnily enough, that's what got me to play on PC exclusively, because this online subscription shit that put a bad taste in my mouth. Sony has so far only increased game prices on games that are in Brazilian PlayStation Network store, with the reason being quote-unquote challenging market conditions. Yeah, no, I don't buy it. The timing is way too coincidental. Sony is testing the water of their PlayStation fanbase to see if they can get away with it. Someone who is also testing the water, who are not making consoles but are making games instead, is Rockstar, and is planning to release a game for the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X/S. Speaking of Rockstar, if you're a Rockstar fanboy, you may as well click off the video here or hit dislike or leave an angry comment. I say this because you're not gonna find me saying anything positive about them in there. It's gonna be running on Unreal Engine 5, which has gotten a stigma for being unoptimized, since modern computers doesn't really feel ready for it. Same engine that the game Killing for Trees is gonna run on. However, engine aside, the main problem right now is that the game is expensive. Too expensive. How expensive, you may ask? Do you remember how people were predicting that games were gonna cost $80 instead of $60? While Nintendo Switch games did just that, GTA 6 on the other hand is a whopping $100. I'm not shitting you. This is what the set price is on for the moment. Some will probably argue in defense for Rockstar and Take-Two Interactive by saying that the devs/publisher need it because of how much time and money put into making the game, and although it is true that they put in a lot of money and time into the game, this is complete cope. It's a complete sweeping response, and here's why. They get so much money from their online subscription on GTA 5 called GTA Online. They get a lot of fuck you money with the microtransaction, so they're printing money. As a matter of fact, they're swimming in money, and now they announce to the customers, the consumers, that we need even more money from your wallets than ever before just to experience the newest GTA. I get that companies' number one priority is to make money. I get that, but this can be done without being so insanely exploitative and shameless. The people that said back in the days that it's okay for GTA games to be over $60 because of the size of the game, I'm sorry to tell you, but you have enabled this to happen. You have enabled them to do this. You compromised to a corporation who realized that they can just nickel and dime you every time because you will keep accepting the ridiculous monetization every time by not only buying their newest installment every time, but also sweeping for them has made them get too comfortable doing this. So if you're one of those people that does this and you're watching this video, just stop defending these corporations. They are not your friend regardless of how loyal you are to them, and that goes especially for you desperate Nintendo fans out there. Now, before I end my video, I want to change the topic to something that's also relevant to the video's broad topic, but doesn't involve price increase. Specifically the movement known as Stop Killing Games.
So let me get this straight. Paying for something is no longer ownership? That's correct. Well then I guess piracy is no longer theft.
Did you guys know that when you buy a digital game, you're not actually buying a game, but rather just buying a license to it? It's sort of like how when you buy an NFT, you don't fully own it, only a part of it. Except that with games, the license to the game isn't even part of the game, but rather a key that lets you play it. This is called DRM, which is short for Digital Rights Management. It's the use of technology to control and manage access to copyrighted material. DRM is nothing new and has existed for many years, but wasn't really questioned much by consumers, and as a result, nothing was done to it on its legality, and it just became accepted. It just became like the norm. It wasn't really seen as much of a problem to consumers until it was realized that there are companies, either a developer team or publisher team, that were using it maliciously to kill games that had no offline mode. The game called Crew is one example of that happening. This goes completely against the idea of game preservation, something that is very important to have as a piece of history for the industry to learn from their mistakes and enjoy the good things that we took for granted. There is no law that protects consumers when it comes to this, which is what Stop Killing Games is here to change. You are essentially just renting a game when you bought an online, well I say bought with a quote unquote, an online multiplayer game that can be shut down at any time while having no offline mode. In my video a while back about Stop Killing Games, I mentioned how I wasn't able to vote in the petition since Norway is not part of the EU. So, the best thing I can do is to just encourage you guys, the viewers, to do it instead. Sign the petition, as this is the last chance we got to improve the industry. The petition has reached its goal, but still, the more it gets, the better. However, make sure it's not fake signatures, as those actually don't help at all. There are European lobbyists that are trying to prevent this from happening, so it's gonna need all the votes it can get. These lobbyists are tied to some of the most anti-consumer game companies like Microsoft, Nintendo, EA, Ubisoft, Blizzard Activision, and Take-Two Interactive. You know, the publisher from the upcoming GTA 6. It goes further than that. There's more of these companies, by the way. There's only a month left, so what are you waiting for? As Ludwig once said, let's up those numbers. Now, I can't really talk about Stop Killing Games without mentioning Pirate Software, the villain of the story. I think everybody knows about his shenanigans at this point, but to give a quick brief summary for those uninformed, he is a developer or ex-developer who happens to also be a streamer and used to work for Blizzard. Well, I say this, but some may suggest that he really wasn't a developer after all for Blizzard and it was just like bragging, so take that with a grain of salt. It all started with how he was throwing in a game of World of Warcraft live on stream in some sort of an event, which he didn't want to take responsibility for. He wasn't really trolling in the match. He genuinely thought that it wasn't just his fault, but also his team's fault as well. This part I wasn't really interested with, but then he did something which I got repulsed by. The next thing he did shortly after was send a cease and desist to indie game developer using sound effects from his live streams, where he got memed on for. For someone who wants to inspire other people to become indie game developers, he sure is quick to shut down some of those same people if he's ever made fun of. This is where I started to lose respect for this guy, and so did many people. Shortly after that, he starts stating how Stop Killing Games is a bad petition, which he would not only not support, but he would also discourage others from supporting it. It was obvious at this moment that this was entirely out of self-interest, considering that he's a developer or a former developer. If you're wondering why I'm not showing clips of his, it's because he's going to use that against me to abuse copyright. And I say this because he used this to go after a smaller channel who goes by the name Card Posting. First the indie game, now videos about him, despite both cases being fair use. So he's basically just going after anyone that criticizes him that happens to be a smaller channel. I guess some things never change, but he's at least getting pushback for this. He's lost 100k subscribers in a short amount of time, which, considering how much he abuses the copyright, I think it's very much well deserved. Alright guys, we are heading towards the end of the video. You're probably wondering, why do I have Unreal Tournament 2004 gameplay in the background? I thought it was sort of relevant to the topic of Stop Killing Games, since Epic did try to kill it off to some extent. Luckily, they didn't go all the way through with it, so if you ever want to play this game online nowadays, check out the links in the description of this video, as they will show you how to do it. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to drop a like or a dislike if you disagreed with it in some way. If you love this video and you want to see more like this, punch the shit out of the subscribe button. Comment down below if there's something you want to correct me on, or if there's something I missed out that I should have included in my video. Any feedback in the comments is appreciated. Most important of all, sign the petition. See you folks in the next video. Farewell.
Hi there, would you like to sign my petition? You gotta be fucking kidding. Look, just sign the stupid petition. I've got stuff to do. Shit. Are you gonna sign this, or will it be your surviving family members? Thanks. Fuck you.